Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Echo Base TV, where community happens. And hello from two members of Tuesday Night Trek. I am, of course, Captain Paul of the Star Wars guys, and right beside me, I have my first officer.
Hail, everybody. How's it going?
Yes, we're doing well. And we are here today to talk about, we're going to do a little comparison. We're going to compare Star Trek, the original series, to Star Wars, the original trilogy. Now, Star Trek versus Star Wars, that is a comparison that is completely, that's never going to end. But I wanted to do specifically the original series and the original trilogy, A, because they
Right.
both have original in their name, and B, because they are both the very first offerings of their respective franchises. So I have four different categories that we will be comparing each of these with. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the first one with characters. Now, for me, this one is a dead tie between the two because I'm looking specifically at the main three characters of each of these respective franchises, that being Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, and Luke, Han, and Leia. Number
Right.
one, casting all six of those characters could not have been casted any better than what they were. Pretty much the only way I can describe it is, of course, Will Shatner is Kirk, Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford is Han Solo, Leonard Nimoy is Spock, DeForest Kelly is McCoy, and Carrie Fisher is Leia. You don't get the sense that these are just actors playing a part. Like, these are the characters. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Because I couldn't see anybody else playing those roles. I mean, we did see Star Trek Continues, and my God, are we going to be talking about that on this coming Friday's stream? But I
We
just
already
like
did
that's
that.
probably the I'm gonna be going into talking about it again because I just love that show, and
Oh,
just for
fair
people
enough.
who are new to the channel and have never seen that show, it's something I definitely recommend people
Yes.
watching.
Yes.
But
In
yeah,
fact,
you're right. It's something I could never really see any other people playing. You know, I couldn't see anyone else playing Han Solo. I mean, we did get the Solo movie. It had great parts. I just, there's only one for me. Only one Solo.
agreed. And of course, all the side characters in each of these different franchises are amazing too.
Hmm.
Because, of course, you have
They play big
Chewbacca.
importance.
They do. Because we have Chewbacca, we have C3PO, R2, um, Old Ben. And of course, on the Star Trek side, we have people like Scotty, like Uhura, like Sulu, Chekhov, Nurse
Yeah.
Chapel, all amazing characters. And of course, the villains. Now, villains, admittedly, is one area where Star Wars kind of just edges out a little bit more for me because they're actual villains, as opposed to, as we've said multiple times on our show, and I believe Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, I heard him say this once too. Star Trek, at least in the original series, never truly had villains, just antagonists, people that
Yes.
disagreed with Kirk and McCoy and all them, but you could still somewhat sympathize with them.
Yes. There might be some characters I'm forgetting in Star Trek that are just truly evil and want to do complete domination over the galaxy, and I can't think of it right now, but as comes comparison to Star Wars and Star Trek, like you said, they just have antagonists while they build up that character, showing why he became rotten, why he became a crooked character, as to opposed to Star Wars. The Emperor is just plain bad, and Darth Vader is one of his minions.
Right. I think the closest thing that I can think of to an out and out villain, and I say this having not yet seen The Wrath of Khan, is of course Khan himself, because we do
Mm-hmm.
see him in Space Seed, and he definitely, at least to me, committed the most villainous acts out of the whole series.
Agreed. He committed genocide, which was, he didn't kill every normal, non-augmented human, but he killed a very big portion of humanity when they were uprising as, the augments. They just didn't fit in. They were made fun of constantly. I mean, that's where Star Trek makes you feel sympathetic towards the antagonist, because Khan committed a very brutal act, but at the same time, in a weird way, you can kind of feel for his actions where, they were constantly being put like oppressed, maybe the worst oppression you can think of. That's what was happening to them.
Right. So for characters, like I said before, it is almost a dead tie, with Star Wars just barely squeaking out ahead as far
I
as
will have to
villains go.
agree. Yeah.
So the next two categories I'm going to sort of smush together because they kind of go hand in hand, and that is action and effects. And for me, these are both solid wins for Star Wars,
Star Wars,
because
yes.
now this is somewhat admittedly an unfair comparison, because
Mhm.
Star Trek the original series came out in the late 60s, and they didn't have the technology that George Lucas would later have 10 years later in 1975 through 77 when the movie was made.
Correct. And
But
this was like when, the motion picture and the rest of the films were being released for Star Trek. So the Star Trek fans were first just getting a grasp of like really HD visuals for Star Trek, as opposed to Star Wars. They've always been using practical effects and always made it come off as very believable.
right. That being said, though, the action and effects that we get in Star Trek the original series, not counting the remastered, I'm talking as it was originally
As it
put
was
out.
originally, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just clear that they're working within their limitations. Although
Lower budget.
unfortunately though, into later season 2 and especially season 3, we know that budget goes down, and
Mhm.
thus thing quality begins to slip a little bit in especially the effects department.
Yes, yes, I'd have to agree. Star Wars definitely takes the win here, especially if we're talking about how the original series first came out. Definitely, because we could compare the remastered ones, but that's not fair because those came out pretty recently for the original series.
Yeah, you're right. And the last category we have is storytelling. And I think for me,
Ah, yes.
and I'm saying this as someone a lifelong Star Wars fan, I think Star Trek the original series squeaks by with a win on this one.
Yeah, it
Because
might be my own biased opinion, but I'll have to agree as well.
yeah, because it's just overall, I think, a smarter story than Star Wars.
Mhm.
Now, keep in mind, the original trilogy, because that's specifically what we're talking about, is certainly not a dumb action movie like a certain other set of Star Wars movies, we might say. But when you compare the story of the original trilogy, it is basically the standard hero's journey.
It's a
As I have
fantasy opposed to as a future utopia that Star Trek points
right,
out, and a lot of the episodes in Star Trek, I have to admit, some of them did make you cry, and there's times in watching the first three movies of the original trilogy, I didn't really cry, but I did feel for what happened in the end when Luke decided not to kill his father. But it's not like hard hitting, if that makes any sense.
exactly. And overall, I would say the storytelling in Star Trek the original series is more isn't really story driven, it's more character driven, I'd say, where Star Wars the original trilogy is more story driven, especially in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
so yeah, like I said, I think Star Trek in the category of storytelling gets the win. What's the point of all of this? Ultimately, there's no right or wrong answer which one to like and which one to
Exactly.
like
Yep.
more. So
There's a funny picture of Kirk. Can we all nerds just get along?
yes, I'll probably edit that picture into this at some point. But anyways, so that is the video that we have for you guys today. Make sure to like and subscribe to Echo Base TV, like this stream, and of course, make sure to check both of us out on my channel on Tuesday Night Trek, where by the time this is uploaded, because this is uploading this coming Monday to the day after. So tomorrow, when you're seeing this, we will be talking about Star Trek, the motion picture. So make sure to tune in for that. And just remember, guys, Echo Base TV, where community happens, live long and prosper, and the Force is family. See you guys later.
Move along.